Hi, this is Devin Giddens. So I did my paper on, I'm doing my paper, final paper on George Whitefield. So I took advantage of this assignment, and I went ahead and read the article "Pedlar and Divinity" and took notes on that. Uh, and it focuses on George Whitefield, specifically his talents as an entrepreneur and preacher evangelist. The article starts out in Lewistown, Pennsylvania on October 30th, 1739, describing a large crowd that gathered to see Whitefield. Um, he brought with him uh, books of sermons, journals, pamphlets, etc. And this was during a period known as the Great Awakening, which was a period of uh, American Christian religious revival. Like the Puritan, Calvinists, that sort of thing. So a period of religious revival in American Christianity. And Whitefield was a big character in shaping the Great Awakening, which was, like between 1720 and, 1740s, 50s. Uh, and what was particularly interesting about him was, and novel, was his skills as an entrepreneur and employing those skills as a preacher and evangelist. Um, he generated large crowds, huge publicity. One big thing was this was important was the use of print, which was able to deliver large, complex messages more cheaply to way more people than had been um, feasible in the past. In the article, certain characters were noted discussing Whitefield. For example, James Hutton, who noted Whitefield's popularity as early as 1937. Seward noted also Whitefield as an altruistic uh, man who did a good job at inspiring donations and lots of interest, and got in just a short period of time, as noted, generated over £5 in donations. Uh, he got large amounts of press coverage, from the London Daily Advertiser. He even had a press agent, which I found to be kind of amazing. In 1738, American newspapers like Williamsburg, Virginia Gazette covered him. Uh, he arrived in America in October 1739. So where the article starts out is where is sort of his beginning as a preacher in the colonies. Uh, so at the time, the colonies had more limited newspapers, but they were for a time, heavily devoted to covering Whitefield. For example, the Pennsylvania Gazette had 60% of their coverage for a period of time covering Whitefield. Uh, Now, in 1741, it was noted that there was some controversy because more traditional religious characters were, wondering if his enthusiasm and other business practices were appropriate for an Anglican minister. And but Whitefield also took advantage of creating his own press. He even took over a London-based magazine in 1741. Um, used and created a lot of printed sermons and journals and pamphlets, as I said already. Sold them. He used other merchandising techniques. He even got involved in other forms of trade, textiles that were very common in the era. Uh, he recognized the benefits of positive and negative press coverage, and that either one could help generate large crowds, and that really parallels, I think, what goes on today with positive and or negative press coverage being important in, like, say, U.S. politics. Um, he would be known to manipulate the news to try to get his name in there, and he would get testimonials from people and publish those. He exploited consumer demand, fundraising. He sort of felt out uh, what people wanted to hear, what they wanted to read, and would adjust accordingly. Uh, so he was a very important character in linking religion and commerce, uh, and marketing, and all those other things. Uh, he maintained that trade and commerce uh, were not only okay and compatible with Christianity, but were actually essential to what was referred to as the divine economy. Uh, and he was also very adept at using commercial language to sell his points. So, you know, anyways, that is sort of my basic understanding and the notes I gathered on Whitefield for the reading. Thank you so much.